Okay, so it's been a while since I made an Antarctica video because honestly, kind of already created all there was to create as far as vehicle tours and all that stuff. But I realized I didn't create a what to expect if you're a firefighter, you're interested in applying, kind of what does a shift look like down there. And I had plans to make a shift at the Antarctic Fire Department video, but it didn't play out because I got busy doing other things. So in this video, I'm going to be giving kind of a rundown of shift both in town and out at the airfield, just to paint the picture of what you can expect kind of in a day-to-day kind of thing. No videos to go with it, unfortunately, so a couple pictures just to help kind of nudge the conversation along and to break up me talking for however long it takes. But generally speaking, whether it's a shift in town or a shift out at the airfield, they're 48/48s. So 48 on, 48 off. In town, when we're at the proper staffing, we can get a little extra kind of free time where it's closer to a 24/72. But for that other 24, the second half of your shift, where you're air quotation marks off, you still can't be drinking. You have to stay in town. You're on recall because it's still your shift on duty, even though you can be at your room, be in your normal clothes, kind of do your own thing, but you're still air quotation marks on duty, more or less. And as far as Willie's Airfield, that's more 48 on, 48 off. Because Monday through Saturday evening, when the Air Force is out there, we're out there. So there's really no getting out of Willie's for 48 hours at a time unless it's the weekend and or it's severe weather and the air guard's not out there doing flights, doing maintenance, then we can not have to be out there. But Willie's is a little more set in being the 48/48 schedule. As far as in town, if you're a career firefighter here in the US, it's pretty accurate, pretty familiar stuff. Shift change is 7:30, 7:45. You're supposed to be, in the meeting room ready to rock in uniform. Get there a little earlier. Usual kind of be a little early rather than be a little late. Shift change between shift coming on, shift going off. The lieutenants meet, kind of talk about, plans for the day, things that got done versus not didn't get done, anything of note with them. After the morning meeting, there's the usual truck checks, make sure everything's got fuel, all the lights work, you know, check the batteries and the monitor, the AED, the usual everything that you're familiar with back home, kind of morning daily checks. Then, in addition to the daily checks, every vehicle has its weekly check, and it kind of rotates. So, for example, Monday'd be the ambulance, Tuesday'd be one engine, Wednesday'd be the other ambulance, Thursday'd be the other engine, and those are more in depth. Those are the ones where with the engines, you go out, flow water, put it in a pump, run some water through it. The ambulance, make sure you go through the checklist, make sure it's got all the band-aids it needs, it's got all the IV supplies it needs, the whole more in-depth check. On top of that, for vehicle maintenance, if stuff needs to get taken to VMF, vehicle maintenance facility, for servicing or repairs, we have to make sure stuff gets over there in a timely fashion when they're ready for it. When it's ready, go pick it up, that kind of stuff. Training in the mornings, usually it depends. on the day. It depends on the officer, especially down here. It's a lot more kind of because everyone's coming from this lieutenant may be from Florida who does it his way. This one might be from Texas who does it his way. Each shift kind of evolves its own kind of way of doing things to a certain extent. I mean, obviously, generally, the truck checks are the same, the meeting handover is the same, but each individual shift kind of gets its own style of doing things, if you will. But training, whether it be going through PowerPoints, getting new people familiar with driving the vehicles, doing building familiarization, going out, going to different places, making sure everyone's familiar with everything else, depending on the time of year. Hose testing is another thing. That takes about a week. So instead of training, it may just be a work day of everyone doing hose testing, or you get a whole bunch of new SCBAs in. You're taking the old ones out of service, getting them ready to get shipped off, getting the new ones in service, that kind of stuff. That goes until about 11, which is lunchtime. Head over for lunch because, yes, there's a kitchen in the fire station, but it's not particularly big. Doesn't get used a whole lot. So walk over to the galley, eat lunch, go back to the fire station. Usually after lunch, there's a little bit of a rest break period until noon. Our shift was 1, kind of the end of lunchtime, official lunchtime. Watch a little TV, chill out a little bit after lunch, and then the kind of the little rest period, the break time. Finish up any training throughout the day, depending on what building inspection you're doing. Maybe get a second one in, although that's more of a winter thing because of the summer. There's an actual fire inspector who goes and does all the building inspections, but familiarization, driver training, PowerPoints, doing skills in the fire station, whatever it may be, hose testing, finish up kind of the day's activities, some cleaning, which is another thing. Just just like every vehicle kind of has its particular focus day of getting a more in-depth work done, more in-depth inspection done. Each part of the fire station has its day of the week where the bay may get cleaned on Sundays, the kitchen may get a more thorough cleaning on Fridays, that kind of thing. And at some point, you do the fire hydrant inspection, which is just kind of a one person goes or the ambulance crew goes, and it's pretty quick, pretty straightforward, but just kind of doing the daily tasks. On top of that, there's sometimes special things you got to worry about. For example, when Phoenix Airfield is in service, the in-town crew goes out, covers that. So there's some days where you don't get any training done because 10 a.m. you're out headed out to the airfield and you're not getting back until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's kind of the day's kind of a wash more or less because you're out at the airfield all day. Or another example is the store likes to have help when they're restocking all the soda, the cases of soda and alcohol and what have you. So we'll go over, help them get all the beverages restocked on Tuesdays, I think it is, and just in general help with whatever other big projects may need our help. I know while I was down there this last season, they were constructing the new pier, and part of it is they needed lots of water, so every once in a while we'd send an engine down and help the Navy with their project. So kind of a case of whoever kind of needs our help, just like back here at home. Even if someone doesn't call 911, sometimes you go out and you do those special details, those special help the community things. Much the same down there. 5 o'clock is dinner time. Usually, at least my shift, 3 o'clock in the afternoon was kind of the end of the official work day, more or less. A lot of people would go to the gym, work out at that time. People who weren't big on going to the gym would would stay at the station. At least on my shift, it was kind of unofficially expected where if you weren't one of the people who liked to go to the gym, you'd still work on improving yourself. You wouldn't go watch TV. You'd study the town map, or you'd do some truck familiarization, or you do something. Just because you didn't want to go to the gym didn't give you a free pass, kind of thing, unofficially. But again, each shift kind of varies depending on who's in charge. 5 o'clock is dinner time. Go eat, and then after that's kind of your day. Watch TV, play on your computer, do whatever. If you're a madman, like a guy who was down last year, you'd keep training all day, every day, nonstop, go time, train time. You do you. It's your time. Kind of at that point, free to go to bed whenever. There's a couple different bedrooms. One's a big, like, 4-person room. There's a couple 2-person rooms. It's a case of it is what it is. And if it's your first day and you're doing the full 48, you wake up, again, most people light you out of bed by 7, 6:50, 6:55, that kind of time, be downstairs, kind of up and moving. Second day, much the same as before. Maybe you go to the airfield, maybe you don't. You got more host testing, more training, whatever it may be. And then the next morning, your morning of going off shift, you would do the more in-depth kind of handover cleaning when you get up in the morning. So make sure the trash cans are emptied from your 48 hours, mop the floors, do the straighten up, pick up kind of thing, strip your bed down, whatever it may be. And then if it's the lower staffing, you work the first day. The first day is exactly like the first day, and then the second day is you worry about kind of cleaning and doing the morning handover chores. But other than that, there's really no difference between working the first day and the second day. Unless Phoenix is open and you're off the day that Phoenix is open, then you kind of lose out because you got to go out to the airfield. So you may not have to go in until noon, but then you're out there until you come back and then you're free again. But just kind of how that works. So that's in town. Phoenix, however, well, this is in Phoenix. Another busy chore, digging things out that may or may not be buried in snow. A lot of snow. And this is the little passenger terminal out at Phoenix, where you just kind of go out, kill time, wait until the plane comes in because you got to be out there early, make sure everything starts and runs and all that. But Willie's, however, where is a good picture of Willie's? Here's Willie's Field. This big orange, shipping container, basically, overgrown shipping container, is Willie's Fire Station. And this is the one you're at more consistently for 48 hours at a time. It's only open a couple months during the summer when Phoenix is, well, both closed, but also when the pole is in operation, because this is the airfield that all the planes that go to pole fly out of. But at this airfield, a little different than in town, a little different than back home. You load up the van at the fire station with all your gear bag, your bedding, your personal stuff for your 48 hours. Somewhere in here I got a video of the Nightmare Fest, that is the van loaded with stuff, which is good for a laugh. Maybe if I can find it. But drive out to the airfield, relieve the on-duty crew that's coming, or the off-going crew. Once again, do your truck checks, make sure everything starts, runs. If you're working with Tucker, this old guy, take him for a lap because he doesn't like the batteries don't like to charge, so you got to run him once in a while. The batteries don't like to stay charged very well. But other than that, unlike in town, it's a lot more laid back. Yes, there's training. You do aircraft familiarization. We work closely with the Air Guard to get on the C-130s. We've gotten better working with KBA, who fly the littler planes, the Baslers, to familiarize ourselves with them. Any important, you got to do something out there. It does get old after a while. You can only see the same exact plane so many times before, it kind of gets a little but you do what you got to do. Really not a lot of inspections to do, just like in town. In fact, more than in town because Willie's Airfield, this is the fire station. This is one half, and here is a bedroom, two beds. Behind this point of view is the lieutenant's office, which is a desk and two beds. This is the air quotes, I guess, workout area question mark. There's some yoga mats, couple weight bars. There's no shower out here. You're not doing a lot of exercising. You're trying not to get super duper sweaty, especially your first day out there, because you're kind of stuck being gross for 48 hours. And as far as the other side of the building, oops, this is the other side of the building. And here is where that toolbox was. And here, TV, a couple couches. I'm sitting in the air quotes kitchen. There's a fridge and a microwave and a toaster oven. I think a coffee maker. It's about it. And some cabinets. So no stove, no bathroom in the building. You got to walk to the bathroom, which is actually this building with the pipe coming out of it. So you gotta walk to the bathroom, walk to get food, unless it's hot pockets or whatever is in the freezer. So not a lot of space. As far as sleeping arrangements out at Willie's, this is the four-person bedroom, which is behind the kitchen. So behind where I'm sitting in that previous photograph. Four people, couple bunks, little fresh air trap door. That's about it. It's actually nice. These are the newer bunks that we put in while we were down there this last season. The other ones didn't have curtains, and they were much taller, so you'd bang your head getting in and out of them. But that's besides the point. Other than that, it's all out at Willie's. It's all based on the Air Force. So when planes are flying, we got to be on hard stand. So especially down here out at Willie's, it's a lot harder to sleep through the night. In town, honestly, usually there may be the odd fire alarm in the middle of the night, but it's usually pretty consistently where you can sleep through the night. Out here, it's not uncommon to have a plane that takes off at 4 in the afternoon and get back at 11 at night, and then they turn around, reload, and then you're back out at 1 in the morning for another plane leaving, and then another plane is landing at 3 a.m., and then it it's very common where you get, 2 hours here, an hour here, up for 15, 20 minutes while the plane lands and taxis or taxis and takes off, sleep for another couple hours, get up, do it again. So sleeping consistently out here is a little more of a challenge. And thankfully, the officers know that. So the second day, especially if you have a rough night, if it's a night of constant flights, it's a lot more of a case of get up, do your truck checks. Okay, make sure everything starts, everything runs. The next flight isn't until noon. If you want to go back to bed and sleep until the next flight, cool. It's not a lot of training you can do out here, aside from the couple vehicles out at the airfield, which you can get those down in a shift or two. Out here, it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more limited in what you can do. You can't really work out. There was kind of a sort of a gym building very briefly that went away. Here it's watch movies, play on your computer. If it's been a rough night, sleep. Some people like to go for a little jog around Willie's. It's fine. Again, don't get sweaty and gross. You'll annoy people, but do what you can to stay occupied. And then 48 hours of that, you get to go home. And I'm trying to find that picture of. Oh, I think this next one's the. Yeah. There's a Willie's shift. Everyone's got their turnout gear. It doesn't help that some people didn't believe in turnout gear bags, so helmets, and pants, and stuff. A couple bags of bedding, personal stuff. 8 people going out to the airfield for 48 hours. You need your gear, your bedding, and your personal stuff. So it became an art of, well, maybe not so much an art, but an exercise in cramming things into the van. Hose testing just like home. This is standing on the porch out at Willie's. Here's all the planes lined up. Fuel's over here. Sleeping arrangements, ambulance. That's about all I got for this video. I hope it wasn't too earth-shatteringly boring. Like I said, I did have plans of making an actual day in the life video of trying to record a little bit in the morning. Okay, we're going to go do truck checks and then record a little bit of doing a hydrant check. But I kind of lost the drive to do it, and I really wasn't feeling super confident, you know, especially during the workday. After hours, like who cares? Make a video on a day in the life, but you know how it is. You're there to work during certain hours, and it felt kind of iffy on pulling the phone out and making videos instead of doing work. So hopefully, if I go back, hopefully maybe it'll be as a lieutenant. Hopefully maybe after going there a couple times, I'll find the time to make an actual come with me a day in the life of video. But this was, I'm sure, kind of sad and boring, not what you expected. But any questions, as always, throw them in the comments. I've got piles of photos and videos relating to just life down here or the fire department or whatever. So even if it's not fire department related, if you're looking at other jobs in Antarctica for the U.S. for McMurdo, I might be able to point you either in the right direction, give you the info that I know, or if it's just what's life like, I'd be glad to make another more generic life in Antarctica video. But other than that, thank you for watching.